こんにちは、ジャパニーズアーモンのミサです。Hey guys! Today I'm going to teach you how to say and in Japanese. Okay, so fill in the blanks. 1番目 This is the phrase you'd want to learn if you're going to McDonald's, for example, in Japan. チーズバーガー1つ。コーラを1つください。You want to say, I'd like a cheeseburger and a Coke, right? So you want to say and in Japanese. We would use the to particle. チーズバーガーを1つとコーラを1つください。Okay, so the to particle is used as and. Noun and noun. You want to say noun to noun. Okay, what about this sentence? 2番目。母は教師。父は作家です。So you want to make the sentence, my mother is a teacher and my father is a writer. If you put the to particle, then I understand why you did it, but it's wrong. So here you want to put the de particle. So you say, 母は教師で、父は作家です。母は教師で、父は作家です。So, why not 母は教師と父は作家です。So, this sentence can be divided into two sentences, right? My mother is a teacher and my father is a writer. So when you want to say X is noun and Y is noun, and that noun is describing what X is or Y, you want to connect these two sentences with the de particle. Always like X is Y and A is B, or it can even be X is Y and A. So X is Y and X is A. So the subject can be the same, but you are connecting two descriptions with the particle. For example, I want to say I'm Japanese and a teacher. Then these two things are the descriptions of me, right? Like they're just trying to describe what I am. Here you want to say 私は日本人で教師です。私は日本人で教師です。So there don't have to be two subjects when you want to connect two nouns and they are both describing the subject. You want to use the particle. Another example, Snoopy is a dog and Woodstock is a bird. So here you also want to use the de particle. You want to say, Snoopy は犬で、ウッドストックは鳥です。Right? So two different sentences combined together. Snoopy は犬です。And ウッドストックは鳥です。Instead of making it into two sentences, you can say, スヌーピーは犬で、ウッドストックは鳥です。So this is different from listing multiple objects, right? It's not like, can I have this and that? So not like a cheeseburger and Coke, please. Those two nouns are not describing anything. Okay, 3番目. Can you make this sentence? I woke up at 7 a.m. and ate breakfast at 8 a.m. You can pause the video. Okay, so here you don't want to use the to particle or the de particle. Okay, so to wake up, you say 起きる. So I wake up at 7. You can say 7時に起きる or 7時に起きます formally. The past tense would be 7時に起きた or 7時に起きました right? And what about 8? Breakfast at 8. 朝ごはんを食べる I eat breakfast. I ate breakfast at 8. You'd say 8時に朝ごはんを食べた informally and formally 8時に朝ごはんを食べました So, you want to connect these two sentences. You want to use the te form. So, 7時に起きて8時に朝ごはんを食べた Formally, you can say 7時に起きて8時に朝ごはんを食べました So for the formal speech, only the verb at the end changes, right? So what we did is we changed the verb 起きる or 起きた into 起きて te. So the te form of the verb is used as and then. So it's really important to remember that the te form is used as and then, which means the order matters. So you really have to list what you do, what you did chronologically. So if we switch the order of the verbs, then this sentence would sound very weird, especially with the time. So if you say 8時に朝ごはんを食べて7時に起きました So this sounds quite weird because it sounds like I had breakfast at 8 and then I woke up at 7. It's like, wait, 7 a.m. is after 8 a.m. and, doesn't make sense. Like sometimes if you want to say, oh, on Saturday I do this, da, 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 and the order doesn't matter. So sometimes I have a coffee first, then maybe read a book, or sometimes it's the other way around. Like if you want to make a sentence where the order of the actions doesn't matter, then you want to use the tari form. So tari form, the ta is from the past tense. So you want to still use the te form technically, but change the te into ta and that ri. So tari. So for example, on Saturday, I read a book, I have a coffee, I call my friends, I go shopping, and so on. You want to list things you do, but the order doesn't matter. Then you do study. So I already forgot the order, so it's perfect. So I read a book. So on Saturday, 土曜日, right? 土曜日は you're talking about Saturday as a topic. So 土曜日は本を読んだり So 読む is the dictionary form of the verb to read 読む and then you change 読む into the te form. In this case it's de form, but 読んで and then you want to say 読んだ as the past tense for the informal speech 読んだ plus り so 読んだり so 本を読んだり、have a coffee コーヒーを to drink, we say 飲む and the past tense is 飲んだ so 飲んだり、call my friends or talk to my friends on the phone. Let's say, 友達と電話で話したり so 話す to talk becomes 話した in the past tense and you read 話したり so 友達と with my friend 電話で on the phone 話したり and go shopping, right? To go shopping you say 買い物に行く and the past tense of 行く is 行った with small つ行った so 買い物に行ったり and then at the end you want to add する or します formally. So with this たり form you want to add する at the end. Okay, so たりたりたりたりする and this する can be conjugated in the past tense as well. So you can say たりたりたりした if you want to say I did this, that, and so on. So the whole sentence was really long, but 土曜日は本を読んだり、コーヒーを飲んだり、友達と電話で話したり、買い物に行ったりする。Again, the order doesn't matter, so you can switch the position and say 土曜日は買い物に行ったり、本を読んだり、友達と電話で話したり、コーヒーを飲んだりする。So, yeah. So, たり form is great for listing verbs, actions, without really caring about the time, so the order. So you might think, why can't I just use たり all the time then? Because that'll be easy. The て form one is very important when telling a story, for example. You want to say what happened first, then something happened. Take Alice in Wonderland as an example. So Alice saw a rabbit that speaks the human language and then followed it. Then she fell into the rabbit hole, right? Here, using たり doesn't really make sense because then you're just listing what Alice has done rather than describing how everything happened, right? So you want to say, アリスは人間の言葉を話すウサギを見て、ウサギを追いかけて、穴に落ちました。So here the order is quite important because if you use たり, then the reader might think she fell into the rabbit hole, then saw a rabbit, for example. Yeah. So if you say アリスはウサギを見たり追いかけたり落ちたりしました then it really is not the same. It would be like, so things Alice did, for example, she saw a rabbit, she fell into a rabbit hole and chased after it, and yeah, it's really not in the order. So you want to use the て form. So 見る to see becomes 見て for she saw, and then 後を追いかけて she chased after, she followed it, and then so 追いかける追いかけて and then at the end you don't have to change the verb, so 穴に落ちました. And for this sentence, I could even add the word そして in front of the last part, 穴に落ちました。So, アリスは人間の言葉を話すウサギを見て、追いかけて、そして穴に落ちました。So, そして means also, or you could also translate like and, right? It just adds extra emphasis on the word and. So it's like the climax, it's the big moment when she falls in, right? So she saw the rabbit, followed it, and she fell. So yeah, you can add the word like そして. Technically, the meaning doesn't really change, but the nuance changes, you know? Or the emphasis is bigger. And the next scene, she drank the potion and her body shrunk, right? Here again, the order matters. She drank the potion first, then her body shrunk, right? So here we can say, アリスは薬 like medicine. アリスは薬を飲んで体が縮みました。So 体 is body, 縮む is to shrink. アリスは薬を飲んで体が縮みました。So this sentence is okay. But I would actually change this sentence into アリスが薬を飲んだら体が縮みました。or even アリスが薬を飲むと体が縮みました。So, so many ways to say and, but these are technically not the standard ways to say and. たらとならば I have lessons on these and they are very important to learn, so I would like you to watch them. But たら or と usually can be translated as if or when, and たら can be used like when this happens, this happens. So it's like a chain reaction. You do this, and because you did it, this is triggered. So this happens. So because of this happens, you want to use たら form. So by drinking the potion, her body shrunk, right? So there's this connection. So you want to say たら. So for example, if I take off my glasses, I cannot see anything. For this sentence, you also need たら because me not seeing anything happens because of the action of taking the glasses off. メガネを外したら何も見えません。And here you can also say メガネを外すと何も見えません。So, たら is the past tense plus ら. Don't get confused with たり. It's たら. They are different things, although they sound so similar. Anyway, たら and for the と construction, you want to use the dictionary form. So 外す and plus と. So メガネを外すと何も見えません。And you want to use this と when something always happens by doing something. So whenever I take my glasses off, I cannot see. Then you can also use と. For example, if your stomach hurts every time you eat curry, sorry for the example, then you can use と. So you'd say カレーを食べるとお腹が痛くなる. But you're like, it doesn't always hurt my stomach. Sometimes, then you can use たら. So カレーを食べたら お腹が痛くなる。So that's the difference. So I want you to remember that this dictionary form plus to, so the dictionary form of a verb plus to, that to is quite different from the to particle as and, like cheeseburger to cola, cheeseburger and a Coke. So the to particle usually only connects nouns. Okay, so you say noun to noun. So verb in the dictionary form plus to, that usually should be translated as if or when. So you cannot use verb to mean like I do this and that. So I watch anime and learn Japanese. Here you can't say アニメを見ると日本語を勉強する. This is wrong. This actually would mean whenever I watch anime, I study Japanese. The chain reaction thing. So different from what you want to say, which is I watch anime and learn Japanese. Not necessarily I learn Japanese because I watch anime, or I watch anime then I learn Japanese. If that's what you want to say, so the first thing you do is watch anime, then the second thing is to learn Japanese. Like that's like how your day goes. For example, then you can use the te form. アニメを見て日本語を勉強します. So I watch anime and then I learn Japanese. But if you want to say I watch anime and learn Japanese and the order doesn't matter, then you use たり. So アニメを見たり日本語を勉強したりします. Okay? And if you want to make a sentence like I like watching anime and learning Japanese. Here, you want to nominalize the verb. When you want to say I like X and Y, you say X と Y が好きです. So I like Pikachu and Snoopy. Then I would say ピカチュウとスヌーピーが好きです. So no problem there, right? Noun と noun が好きです. But if you want to say I like doing something, you want to put the verb in front of が好きです, then you have to add こと. こと literally means thing, but it's used to nominalize a verb. Nominalize means to make something a noun. So the verb becomes a noun. So if you want to say, I like watching anime, you'd say, アニメを見ることが好きです. Okay? You cannot say, アニメを見るが好き. Unfortunately, you just cannot add the dictionary form of the verb in front of が without こと or no. So again, have a listen on that, so check it out. But アニメを見ることが好きです or アニメを見るのが好きです. ことor no nominalize the verb. And now you want to say, I like watching anime and learning Japanese. Then you want to add こと or no after each verb. So you want to say, アニメを見ることと日本語を勉強することが好きです. Or you can use the no particle. アニメを見るのと日本語を勉強するのが好きです. Okay, I said if you want to say I like X and Y, you'd use the と particle, right? X と Y が好きです. So for example, I like dogs and cats. You can say 犬と猫が好きです. Right? 犬と猫が好きです。Now, how would you say I like both dogs and cats? Here, you want to use the も particle. も often is translated as also. Okay? So if you want to say me too or I also, you say 私も 私も. So if you want to say I like both dogs and cats, you can say 犬も猫も好きです。犬も猫も好きです。Here you can also add the word どっちも to mean both. So without the word どっちも, the sentence already means both, but you can add the extra word どっちも to really emphasize on the fact that you like them both. So you can say 犬も猫もどっちも好きです. Okay, but you don't need to add どっちも. And if you like more than two things, then you can also just use more as well. So I like this and also this. So I like dogs, cats, and also rats, for example. Then you can say 犬も猫もネズミも好きです. Okay, so it doesn't have to mean both. It can mean and also. And I want you to remember that when you want to make a sentence, which one do you like, X or Y? To say or for this sentence to compare two things, you want to use the to particle as or. So or in Japanese can be ka. We use the ka particle. So like somebody asks me like, what are you getting for lunch? And I'm like, ramen or sushi. For me, ramen is the obvious choice, but ramen or sushi. Here I can say ramen ka sushi. Right? I use the ka particle as or. But in that specific comparison question, so which one do you like better, apples or pears? リンゴと梨とどっちの方が好き? And then the answer could be リンゴの方が好き. And you say I prefer something, you would say の方が好き. And if you want to say I like them both, then do you remember how to say that? You can say リンゴも梨も好き。リンゴも梨も好き. And now let me explain how to use this も particle. You cannot say も and then put another particles like が or わ or お. The も wants to be alone. It's a lone wolf. So you cannot say 犬もが好き or 犬もを飼っています。飼っています means I have a pet. So I have a dog as a pet. Or 私もは日本人です。You want to say 犬も好きです to mean I like dogs too. I also like dogs. And this sentence means I like dogs as well as other animals or things. This doesn't mean I like dogs just like you. Okay? If that's what I want to say, then I need to use the pronoun I plus も. So I would have to say 私も犬が好きです. So the position of も really matters as well. も modifies the noun in front of the も particle. So if I say 私も, then the mo is modifying the noun I specifically, right? I also like dogs, like you do. So in Japanese, we usually omit the pronoun, especially the pronoun I, right? So I say 犬が好きです to mean I like dogs. We don't always say 私は犬が好きです because we don't like to say 私は. But to say I also, we have to bring back the pronoun I and say 私も犬が好きです. But if you want to say I like dogs as well as cats, then you want to put the mo particle after the word dogs. 犬も好きです. Here you can omit the pronoun I, so you don't have to say 私は犬も好きです. Although you can, but it's more common to say 犬も好きです. Okay? And I have a dog, then you can say 犬を飼っています. Right? But if you want to say, I also have a dog as well as a cat. So I have a cat and also a dog, right? You want to say, 犬も飼っています. 犬も飼っています. Then this means that I have a dog and also another animal. But if somebody, let's say Sakura, owns a dog, and they want to say, hey, me too, I also have a dog. Then again, you want to put the mo particle after 私 and say 私も犬を飼っている or 私も犬を飼っています. Now let's talk about とか and や. They are quite similar to the mo particle, but とか or や means and so on. So you are just listing some examples and you just want to leave some room for other things. So for example, you went to the zoo and you want to say what animals there were in the zoo. And yeah, I mean, you can list every animal that were in the zoo, but that is a bit difficult, right? If there were only dogs and cats, I mean, that's not a zoo, but anyway, let's say there were only dogs and cats. Then you can say, 犬と猫がいました. There were dogs and cats. But you want to say that there were lions, elephants, giraffes, and so on. Like, you don't want to list everything, then you want to use とか or や. とか is used more commonly when speaking informally, whilst や is often used when speaking formally. So, ライオンとか、ゾウとか、キリンとか、コアラとかがいました. So, とか can be next to the が particle, but you don't have to put とか at the after koala. So you can also say ライオンとかゾウとかキリンとかコアラがいました. And this とか implies that there are more animals. But I'm too lazy to list every animal. I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm lazy, but you know. And とか can be used when speaking informally or semi-formally. So like you shouldn't use it when you're writing an like essay, but yeah, when speaking to your senpai, for example, you can say that like ライオンとかキリンがいました. Informally, you can say ライオンとかキリンがいた. Right? You change the last verb. And for the formal sentence, you want to say ライオンやゾウやキリンやコアラがいました. So, や you have to remember that you cannot say やが. So it's really just easier to remember that とか or や don't have to be in front of が。So ライオンやゾウやキリンやコアラがいました。Here, や works exactly. Here, や means exactly the same thing as とか but more formal. But sounds more formal. So, in Japan, I want to eat ramen and sushi and okonomiyaki and all the other food, right? Then you want to use とか。So, 日本でラーメンとか寿司とかお好み焼きとか食べたい。Or you can get rid of the last とか and say 日本でラーメンとか寿司とかお好み焼きが食べたい。And formally you can say 日本でラーメンや寿司やお好み焼きが食べたいです。Okay, 次 let's talk about し or だし。For example, 頭痛いし、お腹痛いし、腰痛い。Or I can also say 頭痛いし、お腹も痛いし、腰も痛い。So I added more to me. And also, but anyway, this し means besides or moreover. So you can translate it like and as well. I have a stomach ache, headache, and my back hurts. My lower back hurts. This し as you can tell, can be connected to an adjective. So, 痛い is an e adjective, although you can translate like hurts and it's a verb in English, but 痛い is an adjective in Japanese, painful. So, you say, my head is painful. Yeah. So here you cannot say 頭が痛いとお腹が痛いと So remember that the to particle is usually used between nouns, or if you see after the dictionary form of a verb, then it probably means if. 頭が痛いし、お腹が痛いし。So like, my stomach hurts and my head hurts. Yeah. And here you might be thinking, can we use 食って? Then you've been learning Japanese well. So for e adjectives, you can change the last e into 食って to mean and. So for this sentence, you can also say 頭が痛くてお腹も痛い. For example, right? You can use 食って instead of し. What's the difference? 食って really simply means and, but し it adds more nuance and even this or and moreover and besides. So it's great when you're complaining. So you want to say, oh, this thing sucks and this thing also sucks. You add the nuance that like this is already a big problem, and then this thing is haunting me as well. And then you want to say shit. Whereas 食って is just listening to things. What hurts? So when you talk to your doctor, maybe you want to say 頭が痛くてお腹が痛いです。or 頭とお腹が痛いです。Right? Or let's say 頭が痛くて吐き気がします。I feel nauseous. Well, if you want to say I have a headache and on top of that, I feel nauseous. Like, can you give me a break? Then you want to say shit. So 頭が痛いし、吐き気がする。Another thing I want you to remember about this shit is you can use it as listing a reason. So it's kind of like because, like から。So let's say 頭が痛いし、仕事に行きたくない. And here can mean that you're complaining about two things. The fact that you have to go to work and also the fact that your head hurts. Or it can mean that because you have a headache, you don't want to go to work. This sentence sounds like you already listed the reason beforehand. So I'm saying like, it's Monday and I have a headache. So that's like an extra reason. Yeah, 月曜日だし、頭痛いし、仕事に行きたくない。例えば、I feel good because today is my payday and the weather is great. So like you have two reasons at least or more to feel good. So you say 今日は給料日だし、天気もいいし、いい気分。気分 means mood. So 給料日means payday and it's a noun. So here you see da appearing before shi. So you want to say noun da shi to mean because it's a noun and also 給料日だし、天気も the weather is also いいし good. So you don't say いいだし, right? Because い is an e adjective. And this da only appears after a noun or an adjective. For example, you want to say Switzerland is beautiful and safe and you can say スイスは綺麗だし、治安もいいし、いい国です。For example, it's a good country. So 綺麗な it's an adjective. So you want to change the na into だ綺麗だし. Yeah. So し can also be used like and. Okay. So し can be used with a noun and an adjective and also a verb. So let's say today was a good day because I exercised and I was productive at work. Here, I exercised. That's like one of the first reasons why today was a good day. Exercise, you can say 運動した. So, 今日は運動したし、仕事もはかどったし、いい日だった。今日は運動したし、仕事もはかどったし、いい日だった。So, yeah. し can be used with almost everything. And it can mean like besides and on top of that and moreover. And with this し sentence, you might sometimes also see それに being used together. So, let's complain about a flat. このアパートは狭いし、家賃が高いし、駅から遠い。Okay, so this apartment is small and the rent is expensive and it's far from the station. So I use し to list multiple reasons why this apartment sucks, right? But I also added それに. それに also can mean like also, besides. Again, this sentence works without それに, but it just emphasizes the last part. And on top of that, it's far from the station. 狭いし高いしそれに駅から遠い. So yeah, this それに is often used to add more reasons. So let's say somebody asks you why you are studying Japanese. You can say, 日本文化が好きです。それに 歴史が好きです。So, first you say that you like the Japanese culture, and then you think about it, and then you want to say, and also, I like the Japanese history. And you can say, 日本文化が好きです。それに、歴史が好きです。もう歴史も好きです。I also like the history as well. But obviously you can also make this sentence into one and say 日本の文化と歴史が好きです。So you can just use the top article, right? But sometimes your brain doesn't work as well as you want it to. Then, yeah, you have to end one sentence first, then you have to think about it, and then you're like, oh, and also, I like this as well. Then you can use それに。Next, 次. I want you to remember あと. This is so useful. I use this all the time. So, あと can mean after and also and. If you see the past tense plus あと, then usually it means after I do something, like after I take a shower, I will cook dinner, for example. Then you want to say, シャワーを浴びた後、晩ご飯を作る。But 後 can also mean also. For example, I want to tell you what I did in Paris, for example. 美術館に行った。I went to a museum. And then I have to think for a moment what else I did. Like, you can obviously connect everything with たり. Like, 美術館に行ったり、カフェに行ったり、クロワッサンを食べたり、ディズニーランドに行ったりした。If this sentence flows out of you, then good for you. But sometimes my brain needs to think. So I'm like, I did this, and what else? And that kind of. Oh, and also that moment you can use あと. So 美術館に行った。あと、カフェでクロワッサン食べた。あと、ディズニーランドも行った。So, if you're a bit of a slow person like I am, then yeah, あと is your best friend. Like you can just use あと to add more. Like, and also. So somebody asks me what I ate for breakfast, and I'm like, I really can't remember. And I'm like, yogurt and and also bread or banana, right? And then I can also say あと. So 例えばヨーグルトとあとバナナも食べた。Like yogurt and also banana. So yeah, あと is great. So you have to make a list for what you need for groceries, and you ask your partner or your kids to buy that for you. And you want to say, oh, this and that. Let's say bananas, milk, and rice. Stuff like that. You can keep using あと. So バナナと牛乳と、あとお米と、あとチョコと、あと you can keep going like this. So あと is super useful. Usually used in the informal speech. Alright. And the last thing I want to teach you is that the words like そして and さらに or また, they often show up in the dictionary. So when you look up how to say and in Japanese or how to say also in Japanese, you'll probably see そして、さらに and また。そして I would say can be used quite often, but さらに and また they are very formal. So unless you're writing essays or you're reading books, you probably won't use it in a normal conversation. Unless, again, you are having a business meeting and it's super formal and you have to do a presentation and you want to say also, and you can use さらに, また. So yeah, in business speech, you will hear them a lot. But when you're talking to your friends, for example, using また or さらに sound a bit too stiff. Alright, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and if you would like more lessons like this or maybe a quiz on this lesson, then let me know and I will create one. And if you follow me on social media, you know that I've been feeling a little bit down. I'm sorry, I'm such a drama queen. I'm very aware, but I don't really want to say I'm a drama queen because I do think my feelings are valid. And yeah, it's very difficult for me sometimes. Because I suffer from PTSD. If something triggers me and like I really have horrible panic attacks and I don't know what to do, and if I'm alone, I'm like and like if I'm alone at like 2 a.m. I feel bad about calling somebody. And I use social media, and like it's so sweet that you guys have sent me messages and like tweeted cute animal pictures, and I really appreciate all of you, and you are so sweet, so kind. I cannot thank you enough. Like really, even if I haven't replied, like I've seen your messages and like they really have helped me. So thank you so much. And I'm sorry I haven't been able to reply to every one of you, but yeah, please know that you are making a difference in my life big time, and you can take the credit for my happiness. Really, because without you guys, I'm like lost. And yes, I am in therapy. I am really trying my best, but sometimes I need your support and help, and yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. And also, I apologize if I spoke a bit funny because I started wearing braces, and it's very hard for me to speak, but I think I'm getting used to them slowly. Yeah, I'm sorry if I sounded a little bit funny, like the F sound, the S sound, the Z sound, like really difficult to pronounce with them. Anyway, sorry for rumbling. I really, really, really love you all, and I hope you have a great day. はい、じゃあまたね。バイバーイ。